Hey, you guys, welcome back to Coach Peggy Real Time docuseries. Real people, real problems, real solutions. Faith, Rita, and Troy are figuring that out. This week we had them doing some really crazy things. You might not think any of these commitments this week has anything to do with success of their wellness goal, but guess what? Remember the all things wellness wheel, the health, spirit, mind, and body quadrant? All of their assignments are mixed into all of that because guess what? Healthy actions will get you to your goal, whether it's to lose 50 pounds or if it's to buy a bicycle. Okay, this week they had to listen to all sorts of different genres of music. They had to write a love letter to themselves using their top 2 love languages. Huh? Do you know self-care and self-love is not selfish? Let's figure that out. Sam's 10, spark plus action plus motivation equals success. 10 rules. Go back and look at that in one of the previous episodes. That is the 10 rules for you to set up a goal and be specific and clear and desirable and nail it. Let's go see what these guys are doing. Ready? It is. Hi, guys. Welcome to Coach Peggy Real Time. Real problems, real problems, real problems, and a lot of real problems. Real people, real problems, and real solutions. How are you guys doing? Faith, how are you doing?
Yep. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
You're doing pretty good, which is so different than all the answers we've had in every other week from you.
Yeah, no, it's been a good week. It started off a bit bumpy, but started to feel more like myself. I felt like I'd almost taken a step back, but I feel like I'm getting my energy back. I've got much more focus, planning, and yeah, feeling a lot better.
Can we ask for an update on how you're doing on the Kitty Cat habit?
Yeah, no, it's 16 days now since I've had a coach at all.
You guys haven't seen the episode. Faith has, she is quitting one of her old time habits, and that is difficult to do. And we are so proud of you. And it's a lot of getting rid of toxins, huh? Ooh, and the habit. I think Troy had actually said that. It's mostly the habit of like the habit. What do you do? Who do you talk to when you do it? So, hey, yay. Rita, how are you?
Doing good. Doing really good. It's the week started off smooth and then kind of ended up a little bumpy, but pretty good.
Good. We all got a good attitude, Troy.
I guess I'll just
have a good attitude, Troy.
It's that, yeah. No, it was a good week. Weird week. A lot of weird. Just the work schedule was really odd, and but it was good because I kind of planned for it and I was thinking ahead and actually did pretty damn good with it overall.
Yeah. Good job. You did it. That was not, I did not wear this intentionally. It just kind of came to mind. I need to get more of these. Let's get the party started just a little bit. First of all, I have allergies, so if I look higher than a kite, I wish I was sometimes. And my lip is not cancerous, you guys. It's pre-cancerous, and we get to just have a procedure, but let's just update that. The Lord can't stop me from talking very long, can he?
Well, but other people can.
No shit, Dick Tracy. I love social media. Thank you for everything you have done for me. And you'll continue to do for me when I'm sitting on a beach in Costa Rica when I quit my job. Okay, let's just get started. The audit, I want to talk about the audit. We moved into audit 6. I'm out. Oh, go. Troy's got an important call. So go ahead, Troy, take that call. And this is real people with real problems and real solutions. And Rita is frozen. So here we go. Let's keep this party going. Okay, this week, audit 6, we went to the cars. And Faith, when we do audits, you know, it's not always about organization. Sometimes you guys, a lot of emotions come up, right? It's like, oh my God, why did I let it get this way? I can't believe this, or I can't find time to do this. So what did you think when I said, go audit out your car do it?
I think when it came to my car, it wasn't that messy, but it's not actually my car, it's my daughter's car. And I've used it quite a lot recently for getting rid of rubbish, and I'd let it get quite messy. So I promised her that I'd get it cleaned out, and so it felt quite good to get it back to being clean and tidy, just especially because it's not mine.
Thank God I assigned that. Your daughter should send me a little love letter. How did the car audit go for you?
It went really well. And I have to admit, I kind of waited till almost like the last minute to do it. But I mean, it wasn't sparkling shiny. I mean, there was some dirt that I needed to clean out of there and kind of dust and stuff. But I mean, it went really well. I'm usually on top of it. And usually once a week, kind of keep it clean and tidy up. And I didn't wash the outside because it's been raining on and off. So I'm like, I'll wait till rain passes and we're in the clear.
So Faith, did you dive into your emails, ladies? What'd you do, Faith?
Yes, yeah. I wasn't your friend at the beginning of the week. So I really didn't want to look at my emails because I had over 68,000 of them. So yeah, it's quite a few.
68,000 or 6 to 8,000?
68,000. Yeah.
Right.
So I organised all the emails that actually I needed to keep, and then it was just a really, really slow process of getting rid of them. I think I've got it to 34,000 now. So,
That is amazing.
I'm back to 2017 now, so I'm getting there.
Okay, so here's a quick question on that. Are you finding because sometimes you find a process that you're just like, okay, let's just put them in a folder, 2019 and before, leave those bitches alone, and just let's do now. Are you finding some nuggets that you really wished you had have organized? I mean, what's falling out of this?
No, just personal emails I've kept into folders and things that I needed, and I just search by those names and automatically move them, and the rest I've deleted.
Okay, Troy, did you play around with your emails in an audit this week? Cleaning any?
I did. I normally have my emails set to dump after a certain amount of time, so I don't keep a lot of them anyway. But one thing I did notice when I was going through is, I have 2 or 3 different email addresses, right? I have a work email address, I have a personal email address, and if you look at one site on one of them and you subscribe to something and you don't realize you do, and you subscribe to it again on one of your other emails, now you're getting the same spam crap 2, 3, 4 times. So it's just a matter of going through and unsubscribing. And I didn't realize just how many times I had done that. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I think I unsubscribed to 45 different things. So.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
It's crazy.
I have 3 of my emails linked to one of my email addresses, so they all come in to one, right? So at least I can see, which is helpful. Rita, anything you'd like to share about your email audit?
I actually keep those pretty clean between work. I have folders that I put everything into. And of course, if it's not, very important, then, I get it done. It's deleted. Same with the home email. My biggest frustration is I get a lot of spam and junk, and I unsubscribe and I block them, and I'm still getting inundated with tons and tons of emails, which I don't understand how if I block them, but that's my biggest frustration right now is I'm getting more junk and spam than actual regular emails. So,
okay.
But I clean those out on a daily basis.
Yahoo. Okay, so quick tip. I learned from a person, I can't say who it is because, they'll be followed and pushed off a cliff. If you right click on your unsubscribe button, and I think I shared this with you guys, but if you right click on that and copy it, put that link in your web browser and just put paste. Many times those unsubscribes are not even going to the original address you're trying to unsubscribe. They're going off to another company that then bots it back into junk spam into it. So, for instance, if you're trying to unsubscribe to National Geographic, that unsubscribe button is being hooked by other companies, and it's not even National Geographic that you're trying to unsubscribe to. So FYI, the point is we've done kitchens, we've done bedrooms, we've done bathrooms, we've done your car, we've done email. We're going to do another audit. The point is of all of this stuff is that one week might be for one of you and the other week might not, but you're starting to understand this process, right? As to why you do it. And hey, if somebody didn't make me do that, I wouldn't want to do it either. But the main reason I'm having you do it is to come up with a summary of kind of this as far as your habits. Do I procrastinate? Do I organize myself as I'm trying to get organized? Right? Do I just dive in? Right? Or do I say systematically, I'm going to do this piece and this piece, or how am I going to do that? How do I fit in the time? I'm looking for that type of stuff. And hopefully you guys are starting to see, now that we've done 6 of these different audits, that that's kind of falling out. With nutrition, you've been working on your macros, and I can tell by the data I've received this week that your macros and your activity, something's working. Troy, do you feel better? We played with your macros a little bit. Is it sitting with you good, or how do you feel?
Yeah, for the most part. I think I still need to dial in a few things here and there. Again, trying to work around the work schedule is the hard thing. Trying to plan with it, and I think I did pretty good for the most part this week. And again, this week was kind of an odd one. It was, I had a couple things happen that really don't happen that often. A couple overnight trips that I normally only have a couple of those a year. I had 2 of them this week. So it's, it makes it a little bit more difficult, and especially when you get a last minute notice, it makes it a little harder to plan and have things set up. But I took your advice and basically had like a baby bag planned and kind of went with it. And yeah, so it wasn't perfect, but it's better, and it's getting better, and I feel better about it. So
when Troy and I talked offline, we were talking about mostly having a plan B and C, and how important it is to really look at the static things in your life. Like if you're able to know, hey, I work long days, or hey, I'm on the road, or hey, my life is super sporadic and I can't control it. Think about it for those of you who've raised a child or babysat a child. Most of us at least understand the concept of having a diaper bag or a baby bag. And when you head out of the house with your infant, that shit has everything you could possibly need in it. I mean, you got rattles and diapers and formula and teething rings and all of those possible things, wipes, whatever. If you think about it, if you have a super weird, sporadic kind of weird life, you kind of have to leave your house that prepared. And it doesn't sound fun. But if you have a little bit of life in your car and a little bit of work, and you have maybe a refrigerator and maybe you're not, we're talking plan Bs and Cs. If that's static, like Troy's life is, he can create that for him. It's just going to take time up front. Woo! You remembered it. Awesome. All right, you guys. Strength. He's not a good listener. Strength test. I got all your strength tests, and you guys have really increased your strength. Now that's data too. If we didn't have that baseline, sometimes people give up. You guys, if you have a weight loss goal and you're not seeing the weight loss, and you have that data collected, and you're like, damn, I can't prove that I'm losing any of this weight, I'm going to quit. But you have that, and you're going back. Strong is the new skinny, right? Strong means so much, muscle density, everything. So Troy, were you surprised that you were a little bit stronger? Yes,
no,
that's
not
great.
Really, because,
Rita.
No, not really. I don't think I was, because I knew we have been doing this, through the weeks. And so to see improvements, it wasn't that surprising to see how much on some of the improvements. Yeah, I mean, that was, but yeah.
You deserve it. You've been working at it. Rita, how were you when you were doing them? Were you did you guys look at the numbers and then go do them, or did you look at the numbers after you did it? What'd you do, Rita? Yeah.
I looked at mine afterwards. So I was kind of shocked, especially with the not doing the intentional walking. That's when I was like, well, I got a treadmill. So I'm like, okay, I'll bump it up a notch. And I tried the jogging thing, and I was surprised on, that it didn't take me longer to do it on the treadmill jogging. So, but yeah, after I did my test, I was surprised at my numbers. I'm like, hey, this is really working. I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So it was good. It's good.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. You guys are definitely getting stronger. That's good. That's good. Why do you think that I said that I didn't want you to intentionally walk this week? What do you think, Faith?
I think I struggle with that. So that was that was an area I sort of got quite comfortable with. It's almost like my processing time. So then I had to find other ways to do that.
Okay, keep talking. So you struggled with me not allowing you to walk because you had said when we first started that you didn't really like to walk, but then you decided that you liked to walk, and now I said not walk, and now you wanted to walk.
Yes.
No. Good job, Faith. You're a bright star, Faith. You're a little slow, but you caught on. That's all.
Yeah.
Why do you think I did it?
I don't know. To get us sort of to find other ways of doing things, possibly.
And actually, you do know, Faith. So walking is amazing. Walking is very healthy. We know walk. That's great. You can walk anywhere. Wonderful. As long as, you have the ability to walk, which is amazing. We all do in this room. And walking takes time, though. So when you are stuck in a crunch to get some physical activity, walking doesn't always suffice when you want to burn some calories and get that intensity up. So I was forcing you to make sure you don't really start to look at walking as exercise, unless you're increasing the intensity and you're hiking and things like that. And I don't want you to run out of time in your day to learn how to do other healthy habits while we're together. So I was forcing you to kind of be diverse. So FID, frequency, intensity, duration, and diversity, we were playing around with that a little bit. The one thing I did want to ask you guys before we get moving is on the inclusion of trying to listen to different genres of music. Let's talk about that. Faith, did you try that? Did you learn anything from trying that?
I listen to a lot of different music anyway, and it's really sort of quite normal. So for me, it was just trying to pick something random that I don't normally listen to. So I just literally picked different CDs out and or just put different music on from Spotify. So sometimes it might be a bit of soft rock, or sometimes it was some dance. And if it was really annoying me, I just switched to something else. If it was just too much, it was.
Faith is going to end up in the anger management movie with like Adam Sandler after all of this. The last 3 episodes, she's like, oh. Troy, did you listen to different music?
I did, kind of the same thing with Faith. I listen to a lot of different music, and especially being on the road, I mean, I've always got something on. So I listen to podcasts and I listen to music. But yes, I did. I listened to some country and some Tibetan drums and just trying to pick different things, and just
the Western drums and flutes are one of my freaking favorite. What about you?
Well, it's not
Go ahead.
not necessarily good when you're driving though, because you have a tendency to start relaxes you and puts you to sleep. So might not have lasted long, but it was there.
There's this really weird sound coming from his vehicle as he was in the ditch. Terrible. Rita, what about you?
I did. I have that Sirius XM. So I was listening to this chill music, and I fell in love with this Nora and Pure. I'm like, oh my gosh, so I'm like downloading a lot of her stuff, and I'm watching it on YouTube and stuff at work, because I'm just totally fed up with all the commercials on COVID, vaccine, and all that at work. So I quit listening to the regular radio.
Nice.
But then I also tuned into like a 80s, 90s country that, I haven't listened to country in forever, but this is the stuff I used to listen to way back when. Yeah, I was like, wow. So no, it was good. It was good.
Right. The main reason I wanted you guys to do that is to think about what beats per minute do for us. Music changes us in 15, 30 seconds. And if you're struggling getting in a good mood or getting active or trying to do something, just go boom. Genre music, flip it up. Go. It will, without even knowing, it'll happen. You'll be getting jiggy with it. Same thing the other way. Faith, when you're pissed off, give Troy's Tibetan drums a little try. Okay, or you can, just might work. But let the music work for you, literally, whether it's, jazz or whatever, let that work for you. When you guys did this last week, did you do it on your homework? Did you guys end up doing it on your car? What did you decide to do? What did you decide, Faith?
I did it on my car. I thought it was probably the easiest way just to work through the process of how to fill it out and sort of do it on a much sort of smaller scale.
Exactly.
And it was really good, just obviously going through each stage and just sort of reviewing all the things that we'd already done. So it was, obviously we've gone through like crawl, walk and run. We've gone through all the habits, passionate, being emotional, and it was really good to refresh on each of these things.
Yeah.
And then obviously putting the percentages in there on where I thought I was. And
That's kind
And
of
it's looking-
interesting, isn't it, Faith, when we break it out like that, how different it looks? Because I know we've been talking to all of you, Troy, Rita, do I think I'm a crawl, walk, run? But to look at it literally in the percent and go, "Ooh, okay," because we are a little bit of all of them. The point of this, when you guys looked at, up here, when you put in here, like, I want to wash the car, clean their car, detail the car, whatever, and you go through these and you remember, Peggy want us to do it by Sunday. Am I a crawler? Well, yeah, that's me waiting till Saturday. Or am I a runner? I'm going to do it Monday night. And am I a walker? I'm going to do a little bit, maybe at a time. Okay, this goal will fall out, the reality, help you fall out more of a reality than what you think or you want to be. And other goals, you may react differently, but I wanted you to kind of see this. So if you still take cleaning the car and you come down here to what is your attitude? Are you passionate about the cleaning the car? Maybe, maybe not, right? Are you going to be emotional about it? It sounds silly, but you kind of can be. I don't want to do it. Why is she making me do it? I just did it. It's not even my car, or you find something in it that can make you emotional. Like, yeah, I'm eating out of a bag from McDonald's. Yeah, I am. And I don't want to, but I'm back binging again. And then habitual, you may not have to clean out your car because you are a habitual person and it stays clean. And then you're going through this. You're like, okay, this is great. When you look at teacher's pet pleaser or toddler in cleaning the car, are you doing it? If you're a teacher's pet, I really want you to start thinking about this. If you're a teacher's pet, are you doing the things I'm asking you to do or your commitments to me because I'm asking you to do them and you want an A and a check mark? Or are you doing them for you, or you need to, or blank? Because this will get you into trouble when it comes to setting goals. Think about this. If you think you need to lose 50 pounds to be sexy for your partner, that isn't why you need to lose it. And if you go ahead and do it perfectly as a teacher's pet, it won't last. If you're doing it as a pleaser, it won't last. If you're fighting it, it won't last. It needs to be a combination of all of these with a desire to lose the 50 pounds for yourself. If you look at it with the car, same damn approach. Same damn approach. If you toddlered it all the way, it may not even be done now. Again, the desire with the car, okay, get it done. Not your goal, I said it. Is it attainable this week? Well, I don't know. It's not my car, right? If it's a shit show and you haven't cleaned it out, you guys, I've seen some ugly pre-pictures for cars. And this sounds like an extreme joke, but I'm not joking. Some people, it's really not a good thing. And it may not have been attainable for them to do it within a week at all. The point is they would have had to look at their 168. You guys might not have. You go, I need an hour on Saturday morning. Oh, okay, no big deal. But somebody might have gone, I need 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours to get this done. I don't have a vacuum. That would be down here in the resource thing. So you can see conceptually, your accountability was to me and to each other. You can see how this works. Reward or unreward was just me going, good job, and how you felt, hopefully, and bragging to others, maybe posting some pictures. It was clear and you were ready to take action when you went all the way down. Again, I had set the goals, so it was pretty clear. And then, the decision to take action, do it, redesign it if you had to, or set a new goal. Is there any place you got hung up as you looked at this document, Rita, and worked through it with like that assignment?
No, I kind of laughed because I'm like, I can't grasp, how am I supposed to use this to clean my car? But again, because I took for granted, I had all the resources. Like I have a vacuum, I have towels, I have the like Armor All to clean the inside of my car. I have the hose to connect so that I could wash the mats in my yard. So those kind of things I took for granted. So I didn't stop to think, hey, some people don't. They have to actually go down and vacuum the car and wash the car, that kind of thing. But that's why I was making it harder on myself than what it really was. And, like I said, my car is not that dirty. There's some dirt in it, some rocks that I carry on the bottom of my shoes, but
right.
It like literally it took me an hour to clean out my car. And yes, I did wait till Sunday or Saturday morning to do it. But yeah, it was, relatively painless.
If we use you guys as an example of what I already know of you and your habits and what I can see just since the time that we've been working together. I'm starting to recognize a few things I'd like to share. If you are recognizing that you're waiting a little bit to get some things done, I'm just bouncing off of Rita's example here for a quick second. Sometimes that's okay, right? You know how much time she might have known. I only need an hour to get my car done. I know I have the weekend, blah, blah, blah. And that's okay. But that can get you into trouble if the end of the week becomes, my sister's sick, my granddaughter got sick, oh my gosh, my house had a fire, whatever. And then you can't fill those, promises. So just as a caution, think about, you can't always wait till the 11th hour or the end of the promise, the end of the timeline. So think about that. For those of you who are diving right in and getting it done like ASAP, just make sure that you're not doing that to all aspects of your life, every single aspect of your life. I want you to kind of not just run all the time, but sit back in it. That can cause a lot of anxiety and also a lot of puppeteering. Sometimes we are malleable, and when somebody says jump, we do this. I want you to learn to kind of sit in it and make sure that you think through the process, because otherwise someone could say to Faith, hey, let's both go on this plan together. And we're going to both lose 10 pounds and we're both going to do this. And Faith is like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. And they both jump into it. If you don't go through that whole Sam's 10 for you, you're not going to, you may help, may get halfway there, but it's not going to last. Anything falling out with this concept, this tool with you, Troy?
The Sam's 10 concept? No, not, yeah, maybe a little bit. Just you don't think about the resources that you necessarily need to accomplish a certain goal. I thought about that when I was kind of putting a bag together this week. I thought about that as well. It's like, okay, what am I going to need? How am I going to, kind of go through the process of what I need to do to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you don't think about all the little things, kind of like you were talking about with Walt in season 1. It's like you have this idea, but you don't realize all the small steps that you have to take to get there. So
what we're going to do this week is I'm going to have you go back and use it. All the information, like, Faith said, all the way down is there. You might see that they start to shift those percents. And especially you'll notice they start to shift over time if something happens. Sometimes when we have an unfortunate thing happen in our life, we might become a little bit more negative, and our approach to habits or approach to life shifts. You might be like, I'm a toddler now, just because you're going through a shitty part of your life. That makes a difference to kind of do a check against that. It really does. I'm going to have you try to determine a goal that you're going to do by August 22nd, which is our last taping for this docuseries this season. So I want you to work through that, and we're going to share it over this week, work together on that, and then share it on the taping next week what that goal is. I will just give you a caution. Don't just hurry up and do it. Work through it, think through it, and go all the way back to those habit history forms that you filled out, because again, we're not 19, so we do have those. There are a lot of books in our library, and you guys have already, whether you know it or not, are falling back on some of those old habits. They're creeping in. You have to stomp them out. Devil angel conversation. The angel needs to just go, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's that shit coming up again. And make sure you're setting these goals up in a different way than you have before. Make sure they're attainable. Think about how you filled out your intake sheets. That's the old you. Your intake sheets, if you look back at them right now, that's a you'll never be, because you're smarter. Now, if your goals were super lofty, there you go. Love letter time. So I'm feeling a lot of love for no one, for everyone. You guys you learned more about your love languages last week, and we talked specifically kind of about primary and secondary. And I said, guess what? I'm going to go. Rita always contacts me like 2 days before. When big assignments or crazy kind of tweaky assignments are used, she's like, these are my words. What the hell? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't get it. Like, it's so, she makes it so complex sometimes, and I'll come back and she's like, oh.
I tell you, I make it harder. I really do, because I'm like, I don't understand this concept. What do you mean?
It's so there, you guys. Trust me on the Rita situation. She makes the macros harder, the Sam's 10 harder, the love letter thing harder.
Guilty. I'll admit it. I do. I really do.
Learning lots. It's going to help you. I make things harder too. Dumb it down. It's because you're trying to get an A all the time. Remember, go for the B. We want to kind of break up with perfection a little bit. Because it's A to F's, A to F's, A to F's. Okay, so the love letters to yourself. The point was we have love languages. We naturally go. We usually learned them when we were little, you know, the touch, or sometimes it's 6 months, 1 year. We've learned them really early on, and then they compound. Or we actually say when we become adults, that's it. I feel a void in blank and now I want this. But most often it's young. And I want you to learn how to do these love languages back on yourself. So if it's quality time, how, not depending on someone else all the time, all the eggs in the basket for someone else, how can I quality time, fill my own cup, my own love language? Because that's really all we're responsible for is ourselves. But also what you'll learn from this is to be able to look at someone else and say, this is what I need. That's what you guys are learning from these letters. I have learned that I need this. I would like to ask if you can, or you'd be willing, because it's still up to them. You guys, if somebody has touch as a 0 for a love language, they're not being mean. It's really going to be work, concerted effort to try to remember to hug you or to come into your space. It's just not their gig. I mean, I've kidded everybody. If you're dating, it's not really a joke. Could you please take this power of when test and this love language test and the left and the right? I swear, if I had my own business, that's exactly what I would do with everybody who came in. Just because you can put like-minded people together and watch them flourish, and then you can have meetings for people to learn to compromise and join together. Okay, here we go. So Troy, remind us of your first or second, I don't know which love letter language you used, but remind us of your love languages and how you did on writing a letter to Troy.
Quality time was number 1 and touch was number 2. It's hard to write a letter to yourself like that, and you have to think a lot about it. And the one thing that, you know, I got out of it from the letter, kind of explaining to myself, is that it's okay for me to take time for myself. Like, even if I have to push something else to the side, I need to be able to take that time for myself and, you know, be able to have that downtime and decompress and just chill out. And touch kind of comes into play with that, because sometimes it's nice just to sit back on the couch with a blanket and just watch TV for an hour, you know. So it was good. It was good overall. But
was it hard to do, to say you're going to kind of give yourself permission to care or love yourself?
Yeah. Because, you know, I think, at least myself, I have a tendency to talk to myself and tell myself things, but it's usually not a positive, not always on the positive side, right? We see the downside, but not always the upside. So to tell yourself that it's okay to do that is big.
It is huge, because we're brought up where it kind of feels selfish.
Yeah, it's okay to be selfish to yourself.
Yeah. Selfless. Self-love is selfless. Faith, what about you? How did your love letter go? What was your language and what did you learn from it?
My main love language is quality time. The second is acts of service. When you first said it, I was like, ugh. It was just, yeah, just sort of.
It's like,
There was just like, oh no, it was the thought of having to write a letter to myself, and so I've had to do quite a lot of work this week just to sort of, because I normally put everybody else first. For me, it's much easier if I'm doing something for somebody else. So sort of to turn that around to myself, and I've had to sort of just take very baby steps to sort of say, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to sort of just set a small time aside to do things that I enjoy, and just really take it very slowly.
Yeah.
Because it just felt really, really uncomfortable.
It is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. Okay. Rita, what are your thoughts? Rita's like, it was so damn easy. Dear Rita, girl.
The first one was like, what the heck are you doing? You should be doing better on this, you know, beat myself up. But like, my first primary is the quality time. And I kind of figured out that, you know, I've lost that childlike spirit. Like, I don't know how to have fun. Again, this kind of goes back to before, like, the exercise doesn't have to be like work. Do something fun to make it, enjoyable. Do things that I used to like doing before. So that's once I wrapped my head around the concept of what this letter was supposed to be, then it's like, oh, okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have your letter?
I do.
Go ahead and read it.
I do. It says, Dear Rita, be kind to yourself. Don't take life so seriously. You are strong in every sense and have nothing to prove. Go find that childlike spirit and learn to have fun again.
See? There's freedom and fun. Yeah, that's like the best F word. I have a hard time having fun. That's good. Okay. This week, when we break that down, that's beautiful. When we break that down, we're going to make it like a list. Okay, so it's just going to look like, what would quality time look like for me? Boom, boom, boom. Going to make it a list. What would touch mean to me? A lot of people don't realize it can be a blankie or a cat or even a picture frame. So many people would love touch, love language. Just holding a picture frame of family they mean puts them in touch. That's how they feel it. So this week we're going to go to kind of lists for that, which will help you more naturally have defaults to that. Good job. Quick question on your wellness clocks. You guys know a couple weeks ago we went over your wellness clocks based off of your chronotype. We have a dolphin in the room, that's Faith, and we have Rita and Troy who are bears. And those are trying to find the best times of day to do your most difficult things so that it's easier to be well. Are you guys having to shift anything, or are you mainly what I want you to start to be more aware of is when you were like, why is this so hard? I had to really learn this at 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I really struggle with really detailed things. Like I can't get into like numbers and that stuff in the afternoon. So I do my really creative throw paint on the wall stuff then. So what are your thoughts? Let's go around the room really quickly. Rita, what are your thoughts on do you feel like you dialed in pretty good on your wellness clock, or are you?
I feel so. I feel like I have, because again, I am an early bird. So I, like the night before, I'll write down my list of everything I got to get done. I get my things like meals, everything prepared the night before, so that if I am in a hurry, I run out the door. But I try and get as much like the exercise and stuff done in the morning before I head to work. And that way, at least I know it's done, it's over with. Because usually when I get home from work, I'm just tired. I mean, emotionally, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, exactly. Faith, have you had to adjust anything based off some of your learnings on your clock?
A couple of things I've done is having a snack sort of mid-afternoon, because sort of I've noticed that was sort of when I'm getting hungrier, and that's just helped with my focus. And sort of secondly is stopping sort of planning or doing other things on an evening time by sort of like 9 o'clock. Try not to do anything with really detailed work, so my brain has that time to wind down.
That's my
so I'm doing more stuff earlier on.
Women in the ocean at 9 o'clock. Troy, what about you? Have you shifted some stuff? You're like, have actually exercised a little bit in the morning time.
Morning, yeah.
What are you learning from that?
It feels much better. I struggle with it at night because kind of the same thing with Rita. You get home at night, you're tired. You just want to sit down and just relax and let your body just kind of sit for a little bit. And if you do that, it is very, very difficult to get up and want to go to the gym or want to go exercise or want to go do that stuff. So yeah, it's been interesting to try to start doing some of that stuff in the morning. And yeah, it's good.
It feels so good throughout the day when you know you're already done with it, instead of dreading having to do it and then feeling guilty that you didn't do it when you crawl into bed.
Well, and I think too, in the morning, you don't feel like you have to do it. And I think that's part of the mindset. At night, you kind of have to force yourself to do this. And it's like, okay, I need to do this. Get off your ass and just go do it. And it's definitely not any fun when you have to do that. So
no. And moving should be fun, not dreaded. I don't know who taught us that. Somewhere back in the day of marketing, there was a shift between movement used to be fun. All the physical activities that we did and the sports and all that, just go out and play and have fun with your friends. There was a shift between taking some fun out of it and turning it more into competition and sweaty and lose weight-ish and yucky feeling. And it's unfortunate that happened. All right, we're going to talk about one last thing, and then you guys, I'm going to give you your commitments for the week and then let you go because we all need to go have a shot of vodka after taping today with our breakfast, with our porridge. No. All right, it's going to become really important if you guys haven't noticed already about creating your boundaries because it is about you. This journey is about you, and beyond this is about you. And it doesn't mean we need to become jackasses whatsoever, but as you're especially trying to discover what works for you, the last thing that you need are a bunch of people pressing up against that. Because you don't even sometimes know what you're here to argue because you're trying to figure out yourself. So it's hard to go, well, you know what? If Rita was saying to her sister, you should work out in the morning. And her sister says, well, why? Well, I'm working out in the morning and it works. You've never worked out in the morning. I know. And then next week, Rita doesn't work out in the morning. So it's hard to just stick up for yourself when you're trying to self-discover what's going on. Very difficult. And it's also hard to create boundaries when you're going to have to reduce some time around some special people or close people with you because their behaviors don't align with you anymore. And you have to almost deconstruct that relationship and build it back up. And sometimes you can't. And it doesn't mean they're gone forever. It just means the path goes away a little bit and then maybe they'll come back together. But I want to arm you with knowing and being proactive on who those people might be and looking for some of the signs and knowing that you may have to have some really difficult conversations because you have to do this for you. The long run really is two things. Most people do want you happy and healthy. They really do. And if they buck you on it, it's just their deal. They are afraid you're going to try to make your deal about them and they're not ready or they don't want to. They. So it's really kind of almost that simple. So we're going to look at a document that you guys are going to work on this week. And I call it kind of finding a positive path. And it is the relationship. Now it's time to create some boundaries. Positive path worksheet. Interactions, human or otherwise, provoke our thoughts, behaviors, and feelings. And increasing positive interactions requires skill and will. Most of our interactions involve other people. Therefore, in order to increase your positive interactions, you should identify relationships that assist you in achieving this. Below, you will assess your most common interactions with specific areas of your life. This will assist you in creating those healthy boundaries and maintain and improve potentially those areas you need to work on. Table 1, I'm going to have you list all those people that you interact with the most, intimate. That's your partner, your spouse, your children, extended family, friends, coworkers. Who do you interact with the most that could influence you? Within each of those areas here listed: nutrition, exercise, personal growth and learning, mindset and emotions, faith and belief, integrity and values. You are going to rank that person all the way across from 0 being the least positive to 3 being the most positive. And the highest number each person could have would be 18. If they were the most positive, they would have a number of 18. Go down for each person and list their name and how positive they are in each category. At the bottom, you're going to go ahead and grand total each column. Table 2, review those totals above and rank them in the below, okay, between nutrition and all those categories. I want you to list them 1 through 6. Which category are you doing the best with the most support? Maybe you're doing awesome and rocking it in nutrition, but boy, you could really use some help if you had 6 was your beliefs and faith was your 6th column. That might be an area that you're like, you know what? I want to work on my purpose and my why and my spiritual connection. That might be 6. Or what if over here, integrity and values is ranked 6? What if you hang out with a bunch of peeps up here and there's a lot of zeros because they are fibbers or they don't keep their own promises or they're always late when they tell you they're going to be there at 11 o'clock? I mean, that has something to do with integrity, doesn't it? All right, table 3 down here in each category below, you're going to write the name of the people up above in table 1 with 14 or more in their right-hand total column. The last column to the right. These are the people who you would consider a positive support system for you to maintain or gain a positive path to your health and wellness. And yes, you may have more people in multiple columns. Let's look at this. Maybe you have Sally and Mom and my friend John in nutrition. Maybe you have Sally, my mom, and John in exercise. Maybe Sally, my mom, and John flock over here for beliefs or faith, or they're fibbers. The point is at the bottom, you want to be able to figure out who are the ones you're supposed to be hanging out with the most that really help you on tough days to get you to goal. So, you can only tell so many white lies to get out of a barbecue or state that you've been busy for so long to avoid these types of people who may be negative in your life. I want you to learn to create healthy boundaries to require, you want to unapologetically stand up for the lifestyle that you need and desire in order to stay healthy. This often requires some tough conversations. Ultimately, you guys, you're in charge of your own health, starting by writing down these thoughts that you have by doing this worksheet. What strategies might you come up with to decrease your time right now with those in your circle and maybe increase some time that are on your positive path? I've got some examples listed here below. I mean, if your best friend loves to go out and party like a rock star, or she likes to go to unhealthy lunches, but you love your best friend, you may need to strategize and reshape when you get together. Maybe it's a coffee or a movie instead of always going out to those lunches. Maybe your mom is not supportive of your wellness plan at all, and you need to have a tough conversation. See where I'm going? Or what if you have an amazing support system with a coworker who is such an avid exerciser and you're struggling? Maybe you can set aside just one day after work for the next month and see how that goes to work out together. Or your sister loves to cook and almost everything is unhealthy, but I love my sister and I want to hang out with her. How about we set a goal on trying to be positive here and cooking more healthy? You guys get the point. I want you to consider who you hang out with and create a positive path towards creating healthy boundaries.
Yeah, my only question is, how do when we're rating them, the 0 to 3, are we rating them on how we are perceiving them? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's your gig, your life that you're living in. It's kind of like when I say your A is not Faith's A. Your A right now might be, hey, I'm working out. Right?
Right.
I'm dancing, man. And hers might be that was her gig when we started working together, where she's like, I exercise all the time and I can't lose weight. And hers is all these other areas that would be her A. So yeah, it's your perception of that. And it will shift over time, because right now a healthy conversation about nutrition might not be, you may be a vegan. Saying somebody becomes a vegan in 6 months. Somebody might realize that all these foods they used to eat that were healthy, that are healthy to other people, cause massive inflammation. And they're like, no. So your conversations then become, oh, did you hear Peggy's a vegan? Oh my God. And it starts to change and shift who you are. So the concept will stay with you, but it is, yeah, through your eyes. Oh. That's a really important exercise to go through. We don't think about that. All we end up doing is this, you guys. Nobody supports me. I'm making all these changes. I have no one that supports me. I'm going to give up. On Sundays, my whole family meets and they eat all this, cultural foods, and I can't eat them, and I'm the black sheep. So this is a really exciting thing for you guys to go through. It's tough. Trust me. No one in my family talks about wellness. Joking, not joking. Okay. All right. This week, this is what we're going to do. We're going to stay on point with your macros, and there's got to be some stuff falling out with that. There's got to. For instance, if you're making some choices with some foods that you really want to add into your life, but they're messing your macros up, let's talk about it. There's some carbs you want to bring back, but you can't make them make sense because you're off. Let's talk about it, because we can maybe bring them back a certain day and not other days. Doesn't have to be all or nothing. So keep playing with those macros. Troy, you are making some really big differences on, trying to find those healthy proteins and some healthier fats. So really keep paying attention with those. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Eating windows. If you guys are still doing your eating windows, keep doing them. I'd like you to think about tightening them up even a little bit more by maybe 30 minutes and just testing yourself and seeing what's falling out. So if you have a 10-hour eating window, just play with it 9.5 a few days and see how you go. All right, water this week. For every 10 ounces of water you drink, you have to do 10 jumping jacks. That doesn't seem like much fun.
It's a lot of jumping jacks.
I love jumping jacks. And you modify them too. If your knees hurt or your ankles hurt, modify them side to side, feet on the ground, no impact, modify them. The goal is we always want to have 64 plus ounces of water. If you work out a lot, obviously it's more water, but 64 is a nice baseline that you want to eventually get to. So you're looking at like 60, jumping jacks throughout the day. We're going to do that for 1 week. I'll take it away. If you're doing it in your real life for something fun down the road, you can always rotate that between squats or something else. I'm just giving you fun things. This one you guys might not like, but we're doing it for a reason. And it's just, we're going to see what happens to the data. You're going to include 3 times this week, rice or pasta or potatoes. You have to eat them at least 3 times this week. If you're not eating them, that's going to be like, Peggy, I don't want to do that. That's going to hit my scale. And I know that makes me feel like shit. I don't want to do that. And I'm going to be like, yep, you're going to do it. Because we want to do another check-in and just go, yep, that's right. No question there. Some of you might eat it 10 times a week already. And going down to 3 will be like, whoa. And that might really drop some weight. Who knows? But 3 is the number this week. Okay? Good times. Exclusion. At all costs, except for death, you are not to go to the grocery store or convenience store any night this week on the way home from work. Or if you're out and about, Faith, I know you work from home. What's that going to cause? Yeah. Don't know. Better plan ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see how important shit is.
So when could we go to the shops? Just not, pardon?
So you work from home.
Yes.
Anytime you're out and about that's not grocery shopping.
Oh, okay. No, I hate shopping, so I never go like once a month anyway. So that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I just waited till Sunday and said, girl, that was so easy. Like it was, right.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So, yeah.
No, yeah. Okay. I need you to keep your exercise exactly as it was this last week, except if you want to bring back your outdoor walking or anything like that. I'm keeping it the exact same because we are adding some jumping jacks, but I also want to see, by not going to the store randomly and adding back in those particular carbs, how our data does. So I don't want to change your exercise and make it super aggressive this week because I won't know what's working. You never want to change too many of your data points at the same time. You're going to play Sam's 10 with your 8/20, your August 22nd goal. And I want you to post one time on Coach Community this week. Just go into one of the old recaps, cut and paste. Share with people how you're doing. You're sharing a lot of amazing stuff on our personal site. Let them know how the hell you're doing. Audit 7 is actually your positive path worksheet that I just shared with you on the people. So your audit 7 is just kind of auditing some relationships. We'll go deeper with that down the road. And now we're going to finish it up with, Faith, I did not forget focus words. Are you proud of me? So F words this week. We came off of a week of, what was it, reset, reflect, and realistic, I think you guys all were, and I was quiet. Boy, did social media take care of that for me. Actually did the exact opposite now that I think of it. How did your word go this week? And I want Troy, so let's go with you first, and then to let you know that this week is S and T. So how did your word go, and what's your new word?
My old word, or last week's word, was reset. And actually, I think I did that pretty well. I think I kind of hit that one pretty decently. So
I feel like you had that week where you're like, okay, let's
I'm
do
done.
this. Yeah.
Well, I had to, before that, and then that's why I needed the reset. And I feel like I definitely did that well.
I think so too, buddy. What are you going to do for your S or your T this week?
Succeed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What about you? How did it go last week? And what's your new word, S or T?
It went really well. Like I think I had mentioned just to you that so my word last week was reflect. And I kind of looked back to where we started or before we started this program. And I told you, because I've been seeing the weight, particular in this instance, fluctuating and you're like, it's going to work. It's going to work. But I also mentioned to you that it feels different this time and I'm sticking with it. So I think those weekly challenges have really helped. So, and the word this week, the one I came up with was sacrifice. I'm not sure I want to stick with that because I was going to kind of fine tune my eating options and like it was going to be the carbs, sacrifice certain carbs, and then just kind of see which I still will play around with a little bit, but I'll incorporate the ones that you just gave us to try. But so
sacrifice is an interesting word. It'll be, I think you should keep it and we'll see what falls out with that because it may dive into different spokes. What about your word last week and this week's word?
My word last week was realistic. I think it made me actually plan out. I mean, sort of after the taping, I planned out sort of everything that I needed to do for the week. I'd looked at all different options for exercise. I'd set down all my different tasks for the day so I could monitor it. And then sort of on the mornings, especially if I was feeling really tired, I had options either to do sort of a short workout or do something a bit longer. It also sort of identified areas where I'd almost not been realistic about where I'd been out and I've not sort of thought ahead. What am I going to have for food? So I thought, okay, this is where I need to plan in, do a bit more planning. So I can be a bit more realistic with my macros. So I'm not getting to a point where I don't know where I am with things. So it was really good all round, but it just really made me think about planning. And that's really important to me. And it made me feel more secure in what I was doing. So I'm not thinking, have I missed something or?
Your organization, you guys, you can really see, I have to say this, because I can, you're a dolphin and you guys being bears. If ever I could give you the best example to compare two chronotypes, it would be like, you can see how you guys are. If you watched how Faith was in the beginning of this series, just that constant rumination and self-doubt and just, there's no reason to beat up somebody with her chronotype because they do it so well themselves. There's no reason to. And they like to do it perfect and do it alone sometimes, and they won't take chances. I mean, if you look at the Faith in the beginning, always checking in, am I doing this? Am I doing this? And how disorganization can spin them from even taking a step. And all the work in the organization, all these things that it takes place to get to where she is now. Can you see the difference? That's what a dolphin does. And she's embraced it, or we would be saying the same things. And she would be giving up and she would be negative and she would not seeing these results. She was primed to make these choices. And you can see with you two both being bears, how your approach is very 9 to 5. That's 65% of the world is a bear. Wake up with the sun, go to bed when the sun goes down, eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 2 snacks. And hey, people, how are you? That's a bear. And they're more, I love me. No, I don't. It's very balanced kind of life. I'm just so freaking proud of you. What's your word for this week?
Thankful.
Well, that's awesome. Kind of like Christmas in July, Thanksgiving, August.
No, I think I can focus on the negative a lot of the time and not sort of think about the things that I have got and things to be thankful for. So I'm going to try and sort of just think of a few things every day and try and just focus more on that.
Somebody stop her. That's awesome. All right, I want to finish up with one more kind of comment and then just see how you guys are doing as we end. Plateauing. Let's talk about plateauing and what that means. Plateauing of your mindset, plateauing of just kind of getting burned out with this whole thing, I call it hovering instead of plateauing, because hovering just feels nicer. So when you're starting to hover and your mindset's starting to hover and all those things, just recognize that maybe it's just time to take a deep breath and just check things out. See how things go. Because your weight's doing the same thing. I think I've told you guys this before. It reminds me of people who pray. I promise if this just happens, I'll do this. Please help me. Whatever your belief system is, you want everything right then. Now, when you pray, okay? It's the same thing with people who decide that they want to lose or gain weight. They want it right now. Can't you see me making these efforts? I already said that, please forgive me. No. But can't you see? And if you just think about the way that your body is, it's going to react, plateau. Check it out. Then it's going to react, plateau. It's based off your actions. But like Rita said, I want to just capitalize on this. You can't stop thinking what you're doing is not working, because what you did 2 weeks ago, you're probably reaping the benefits of right now. And what you're doing right now might show up in 3 weeks. It's not always on your timeline, just like your prayers being answered are not always on your timeline. That's why you have to just keep going. Keep doing it because you're supposed to feel better, because you're supposed to eat better, because you're supposed to be around positive people and sleep better and all that. But plateauing is just hovering. So if your weight's hovering, all it's doing is an assessment. Whatever's Rita's doing right now, moving or eating, is keeping my weight right here. That's all it is. It's just doing this until it does this again, based off of healthier actions or unhealthier actions. Okay. All right. Final thoughts, Troy?
Positive going in. It's, I'm actually feeling a lot better now than I was. I was struggling there for a little while. It really was. And,
I could tell.
It's, it's good. I'm positive. I'm looking forward to going. Keep going.
Yeah, you guys are all moving in the right direction. Even if I was just judging your mindset and couldn't even see you, all your data is showing it. First of all, you're stronger. Isn't that just in and of itself amazing? You're all stronger. Your strength tests prove it. You should start to feel it in some of your clothes should be a little bit different. Your posture should be a little bit different. Your blood flow is a little bit different. You're now the wellness wagon's really rolling along. Rita, what are some of your thoughts as we finish up?
I'm motivated. And I know, like at the very beginning, how you've constantly said this isn't a weight loss program. And this whole program has really shifted my mindset to where I think that the more I thought about weight loss goals and how it was stuck and I couldn't see changes through all these other different things that we're going through and that we're working on, it has kind of brought it full circle. And I notice I'm not just focusing on the weight, I'm focusing on like our daily tasks, our weekly tasks, the people in our lives, how they're affecting us, that kind of thing. So, this is the motivation that has kept me going, because I'm like, it's not just the weight thing.
If you make it about a wellness to-do list or tasks or actions or challenges or experiments and you just do them, you guys, you're auditing your cars and you're losing weight, huh? It isn't that equal statement, but it is. You just got to keep having fun and playing with weird stuff. Faith, final words?
No, I'm looking forward to sort of taking the next steps. I'm learning so much about myself, and as I'm sort of taking, and I feel like I'm resisting change a lot less now.
Yeah.
I never used to be a finisher. I always used to sort of almost stop just before I did get to the end of things. And it's almost like I didn't know what the next steps were. But I feel like I'm changing the way I think. It's really good.
That's a sabotager. When you're finishing just shy of a goal consistently over time, that's self-sabotage. All right, guys. Till next week. Till you hear from me later, which will be tonight during the premiere. when anything goes. All right. Thanks, you guys. Honestly, talk to you soon.
Okay.
Proud of you.
Hey, guys.
Bye. You've been watching Coach Peggy Real Time, a transformation coaching docuseries where each week the cast learns strategies and tools that help improve the quality of their life. And I hope at home you're trying some of the challenges and experiments as well. If you would like to be on upcoming cast for the next season, go ahead over to coachpeggyrt.com and find out some more information and apply. If you'd also like to be a part of our groups that are not public, you can find out that information there as well. Hop on over to Coach Peggy Facebook community and please share with us there your journey and see how the cast is doing each week. Thanks again for watching. and we will see you next week.